Hi there, just going to do a short video today on dismantling a Gameboy Advance SP and transferring it to a new shell. Bought this Gameboy Advance SP the other day, and as you can see it's not in the best quality, it's quite scratched. Screen's still very good, back of the battery cover is missing, so I bought a new shell off eBay for I think it was £6 including delivery, and I'm going to dismantle the old one and transfer it into the new one. Now the new one that I bought off eBay, I'm not entirely sure whether it's sort of genuine Nintendo, but it is very good quality. It's exactly the same size, which it needs to be for the innards to fit in, but it looks very well made and all the markings on it match exactly, and in fact arguably look a little bit better than this one, which is an original one. You even get the sort of serial number sticker with the kit, so you can pop that on to make it look exactly the same. The kit that I got as well came with a couple of tools which you'll need, which I'll explain about in a minute, and it even comes with all the fixings and screw covers as well. So hopefully it's going to look pretty much like a brand new Gameboy Advance SP. Okay, so just before I start, I'm just going to show you the area that I'm working in. Okay, so this is the work area I'm using. This is just my kitchen table, but whenever you're dismantling intricate sort of electronics, things that have got lots of small parts, it's always good to have a clear workspace to begin with, one that's well lit. And what I always try and do is clear the space as much as possible, lay out the kit that I'm going to be working on. So this is the new Game Boy shell, which obviously I'm not going to be using just yet. I've got to dismantle this one first. These are the two tools that I'll be using. These actually came with the new shell, and one is a tri-wing screwdriver. It's a special tool. It's just Nintendo use the tri-wing screw for a lot of their handheld consoles and other ones as well. So you need to get hold of one of these if you're going to be working. They generally don't come in normal screwdriver sets, so either you can get one off eBay for a couple of quid. The other one here is just a standard Phillips or crosshead screwdriver, precision screwdriver. You generally get these in precision screwdriver sets, and those are the two types of screws that you'll find in the Game Boy. So those hopefully are the only two tools that we'll really be needing. Just got a couple of bowls set out here. When you're dealing with tiny little screws which can get lost easily, if you just leave them lying around, they get knocked off and then you're scrambling around on the floor. So I always have a few bowls, different ones for different screws, so you don't get mixed up. Just makes life a little bit easier. Okay, so we're going to crack on with the dismantling of the Game Boy Advance SP and see how we get on. Okay, so we're going to begin. You'd normally have a battery pack here which uses the normal crosshead. There's just a screw there, and that's pretty simple to remove. Now, this one's fallen off, so remove the battery, which literally just comes out, and then we're presented with a number of the tri-wing screws. So just going to begin by removing those. Okay, so that's the 5 screws removed on the bottom. There's 4 in each corner, and then there's 1 in the battery compartment. And what I've actually noticed is the 1 in the battery compartment is smaller in length than all of the other 4. So that's important to note, that that is not a standard or is not the same as these 4. So I'm just going to make a note of that, so I know when I'm reassembling it that this screw here is not the same as these 4. Probably should have removed the game beforehand, because once I have done, I noticed that there is another screw here on the game slot cover. So I'm just going to remove that one as well. And I've got a feeling that this is going to be another small one, which it is. So I'll just show you the difference. Not sure how well you can see that, but it is probably a few millimeters shorter. Okay, so once we've removed the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screws from the back, this will then remove, and we've exposed the main board. What I've noticed is we've got this very small square, it's actually a bolt which has come out, and this is the receptacle for the battery compartment. And if you can see here, we've got a little square compartment, and this actually goes in there. When you screw the battery cover in, that's where the screw goes into. You'll notice now you've got an exposed main board. We have got the volume slider here, and this is the on and off switch. So in fact, this is the power switch, and this is the volume switch. So it's very important to be very careful at this stage, because it's just take your time to have a look where stuff actually goes, because even when you're being really careful, little bits can fall out and you can get yourself into a bit of a muddle. So we're just going to take this nice and slowly. So the screws on the inside look all like crossheads, so we're going to need that screwdriver. Okay, so now I removed 3 crosshead screwdrivers which basically sit in a triangle configuration on the main board. Okay, so once we remove these 3 screws, the main board will then start to come away. So it's actually mounted on a number of little holes, and you just basically want to stick your finger in and start to lift it away. I'd recommend doing it probably while it's upside down, because as I've just done it, all the buttons are falling out, and that's what I was talking about. One's just falling on my lap. Now it's not a big deal because I've got new buttons with the new one, but don't really want to lose anything, so I'm just going to put these again in the bolt. You'll see that speaker has come out, and all the speaker is a very simple speaker that isn't even hardwired. It's just got 2 contacts which then sit on the main board. As you peel the main board away, be very careful because it's still connected to the screen by this ribbon cable here, and the ribbon cable has got 2 connectors on either end, 2 brown little lugs. So I'm going to need to pop those out in order to get the ribbon cable free. So I've done one, the other one is a little bit more tricky to reach. There you go. I don't know if you just heard that click, but that has freed up the ribbon cable, and it should now there we go. With a tiny little bit of persuasion, we've now got the motherboard free. So you don't ever want to force it. And that is the ribbon cable there. So now the speaker, when we're reattaching it, you just want to align the 2 metal contacts, I think. Yeah, it's just going to sit like that with the diaphragm of the speaker facing upwards.